everyone. Hey, it's Maxine, your girl from ItsMizzMaxHealthandCulture. So glad to be joining you all today on this Saturday afternoon. Hope everybody's day is going well. And first, I'd like to give a special shout out, as always, to super producer Cindy Ashby. Without her, none of this would be possible. Thank you so much, Cindy. Also, you can cash at my sister at On the Wake Up Radio. You just send a donation. It takes money to burn that midnight oil. And you can always catch us on SoundCloud. You can catch us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. But of course, we prefer that you sign up with otwtube.com and listen to our live radio at onthewakeupradio.com. And also, if you'd like to join us today live on this topic, today we are talking about our Am I My Sister's Keeper? And you can give us a call. Hold on. Let me put my glasses on. I'm trying to be good without them, but I don't do so well without those. You can give us a call at 844-818-4433. Again, thank you all so much for being in the house. And boy, I'm telling you, this is a topic that is very near and dear to my heart. I'm going to take y'all back a little bit and remember when you was 5 years old on the playground and you met that one friend and you looked at her and she looked at you and you guys had both the same ideology to go over and play on the swings, and that's what you did. Life was simple, wasn't it? It was so simple back then. And if you were blessed, maybe that friendship carried over into middle school, and if you were more blessed, maybe even into high school. What I love about friendships is that it takes us away from everything that we're going through in our everyday life. And if you are so blessed to have good friends, consider yourself so lucky, because it is not easy to cultivate friends. Friendship, when I think about the definition of friendship, friendship is about love, give and take, being there for one another. Are friendship perfect? Heck no. And that's why you're friends, because you bring something to the table, they bring something to the table, and you're not always going to see eye to eye, right? But when you're going through something, when you're going through those emotions, especially when you're in your teenage years, when you was in high school, you're crying, you call your friend, you want to know that somebody has your back. And I don't care what anyone says, nobody can talk to you and hold you down like a sister can. And that is the true respect and love of a friendship. And we should always work to thrive on being the best friend to one another as we can. Now, let me say this also is that in our lives as women, especially as Black women, we suffer truly from the most trauma. I believe out of any other race, we really do. Every woman overall suffer from trauma, but we suffer from trauma. And we get to make a decision as to what we're going to do to that trauma. What I mean by that is that when you're young, you don't realize that that's what's happening to you. You don't realize that you're in trauma. You don't realize that you've been devastated from things that's going on in your life. So you have a decision to make at that time. Either you're going to take that energy and you're going to form into what's called the empath, or you're going to be the narcissist. Now, those are two words that we did not know growing up. And so when you're going through your childhood and all the things that you've gone through, you look forward to that friendship, or at least I hope you do. You look forward to that friendship. And if you're anything like me, you're going to say to yourself, you know what? I don't want to put my burdens, or I don't want to put that trauma, that difficulty on anyone else. I don't want anyone to feel badly like how these certain people made me feel bad, right? So what you do is you pour into these friendships and you want to be the best friend to them. Unfortunately, it always doesn't work out that way. You have other people that may also be going through the same thing, or maybe not exactly. We all have different levels of this trauma that we're going through. Understand that. And some people may be like in those Marvel movies where they take it the other way and they get so traumatized that they like, you know what, damn this, nobody's gonna come in and hurt me. I'm gonna get what I can get out of it, and that's the way I'm gonna live. So those are two ends of the spectrum that we're dealing with. Think about when you had your first real intimate friendship with one of your girlfriends. And if you were lucky, like I said, everything goes great for the most part. Of course, you may have your arguments, but what happens? What happens when you cultivate friendships that you realize that you are meeting a person's representative? and that you are meeting someone who is not really showing the true version of who they are. And at first, it might look like this. The friend, you're meeting each other. Think about again how you cultivating that friendship. You meet, you look at each other, your spirits are matching, you start talking, you find out that you have a lot in common, or so you think. You begin on this journey of this friendship. It's exciting because any new relationship, whether it's a male or female, is very exciting. It's a dopamine that goes through our head. And then something in your stomach isn't right. You don't know where to figure it out. You don't know you don't know how to figure it out. What is it? This person's not making me feel good. At first everything was going great. What's happening? And then you find out the real version or the veil has been thrown off. And now you're dealing with now what I call the disrespect of the friendship, meaning that this person deceived you coming into the friendship. And that's the heartache part of it. What do you do when it gets to that level? What do you do? Again, I'm going back to say we all are working in our trauma. It's just how we all handle it at the time. And nobody escapes the trauma, by the way. You may have gone to school with people that looked like they were having the perfect life, or so it seemed. Let me tell you something. The only difference is they got their trauma later and you got yours sooner. Then as you get older, you realize you're just really switching places. By that time, maybe whatever they went through in their childhood or in their household is now catching up to them. And now hopefully you're working your life to where you're being the better version of yourself. But what shifts? What makes good friendships shift? What happens when everything is going great and then the friendship just shifts? And that could be a variety of things, family. That could be a whole lot of things. After we graduate from high school, many people go to college. Sometimes they go, they move out of state. Um, if maybe I don't know what the dimensions are. So that's just the beginning of your 20s. I'm just talking about early 20s. Now we're going into our 30s. That's where we're really discovering who we are as people. So if your friendships can survive that, then that's usually kind of the area where I want to say where everybody's just kind of discovering themselves. This is where you find out the career you want, the job you want to do. But maybe, just maybe you look like you're getting ahead, and maybe they may not be moving at the same pace that you are. And then now you have the jealousy factor that's coming in, right? And what always saddens my heart is that it's never a competition, or it should not be. Let's say that it should not be a competition, but for some reason it is. It depends on what the personality type that you're actually dealing with. And we are human beings. We're emotional people. That's what we are. But I'm talking about when you've got that friend's back and you love that person and you would do anything for them. And anything that you have, they got. I don't care if I got a penny. Half a penny will do. I'll give you half a penny. I got half a penny. You got half a penny. And then the friendship shifts. Well, this is going back to what I'm talking about earlier. This is where that trauma sets in. And so now the same person that had your back now doesn't recognize the person that you're becoming, because in their mind, you're getting ahead. You're getting ahead of them. You're moving forward in your life. And they're not, whatever their circumstances are. But instead of coming and being as a friend and asking you, sis, what is it that you're doing? Or how are you moving? We're too embarrassed to do that because we're supposed to be equals. And we are equals. We're just at different places at different times. That's the only difference. The only difference is you're probably going to get there too, but you just may get there 2-3 years later, maybe 5 years later. That's probably the only difference. But at the time, you don't see it that way. So now I'm going to jump over a little over. I'm going to jump over. We're out of our 30s now. Now we're creeping into our 40s and our 50s. And this is at the time where friendships should be kind of settled down. Um, again, you've survived many years through your old friendships. You may not. Now, at this point, this is where it could vary for different reasons. I've had people that I grew up with where we went different path. I know I had a different path. I was a single mom early. I had my child before any of my kids did. Now that made me feel some type of way. It did not make me feel jealous, but I felt some type of way because I felt like, gosh, look at them living their lives, and I'm a mom right now, and so I kind of felt like I can't hang with them like I want to. But at the same time, it doesn't matter because even me being a single mom, even though I was watching them live their lives, I was still happy for them because I was like, you know what? One of us got to do it. I'm glad you're doing your thing. You're going, you got your career going, you're making your money, you got that college degree. Yes, those are the things that I want to aspire to. So if anything, I feel inspired. But not everybody feels that way. Some people feel some type of way about that. Excuse me, everybody. I don't know why I have a scratchy throat today. But anyway, so we're in our feelings. We're in our feelings. So now you have what's called that friend shift. You have that friend shift. What's happening now? What happened to my girl being able to come to me and confide in me? Whatever happened to me about being able to go to her? There's changes. But here is where it gets dirty. When one friend starts looking down on the other one, that equalization is no longer no more. And all this time that you thought that you were in the same place and we were going the same place, just at different rates, that we were both going to make it. Why we just can't cheer each other on? But no, sometimes it's not that way. And based on what happened to you in your childhood plays a vast difference, a big difference on how you make decisions. Do you hear what I'm saying? It really makes a big difference on how you make decisions because now triggers are happening. That's what's happening in your head. You're going through triggers. And those triggers are dealing with the rejections that you've gone through as a child. You're dealing with the failures that you felt. Maybe your family members told you was never going to be nothing, you ain't never going to amount to nothing. Or maybe it's the opposite, that you were raised to have an illusion of grandeur. Your parents may have made you feel like you guys had all this money, or you've had all this wealth, only to find out that the money's not there and you're just like everybody else and you got to make it just like everybody else. That's triggering. That's very triggering. But now I'm going back to our ages where we are now. We're in our 40s, we're in our 50s. And there is a saying by a Buddhist, I'm paraphrasing it. He says that if you wait too long to make a change in your life, if you don't make the changes mentally in your mind, you will be stuck there the rest of your life because you waited too long to make the changes. And so we think that as we're growing older, we're getting older in our 40s and 50s, that we should have a better mindset. But let me tell you something, family, is that you have to do that work. You have to do that mental work in order to be the better friend, because we are all changing at different levels. You are not the same 5-year old. You're not going to be the same person you was at 5, 15, 25, 35 and up. You are going to be different, a different person every step of the way. If you weren't, I'd be concerned. I would hate to know that you're still the popular girl from high school being 18, still acting like that at 48. That's not healthy. That's not a healthy mindset. And the other word that I talked about earlier was narcissism. I talked about empath and narcissism. So when we talk about the empath, we kind of tie it all in, because when we talk about the empath is the person that says, you know what, I don't want anybody to go through what I went through. Oftentimes what happens though is we attract those types of friendships, of those people who are the narcissists. We feed off of each other because we both went through our trauma. We both went through our trauma, and they are comfortable. The emotions are comfortable. Because of the things that we went through, we want to be around people who can relate to us. And so that's what we think when we're getting into these friendships, especially in our older age. We think that we're getting into these friendships because you can empathize with what I went through. But the difference is that I'm here to console you, but you have an agenda. And that becomes a problem, especially when you're bringing in new people in your life, new circles. And as you get older, you're going to have different types of friendships. Like, say, for instance, you join, like when I did life insurance, I had that group. If you're a part of a church, you're always going to be having different people and different relationships in your life. But if you have the trauma that's so traumatic that you always feel that people are on the take or out trying to get you, that's a problem. And so what happens is what you do is you deceive people by making them believe that you actually are genuine and loyal and want to have their back, but that's not your intention. Not, you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say up to a certain point, it really isn't your fault. To a point, because you've lived this way your whole life. You're around the same people your whole life. It takes work to get in there and say, you know what, I'm going to change my mindset. But instead, you take the victim mode and you bleed on the same people that love you and have your back. You understand what I'm saying? I would like to know that when I'm dealing with people or dealing with my friends, that I have certain people in my life that I know that I can go to, because trust is a very big factor. When you grow up without having true trust in your life, that can damage you as well. So you want to make sure that the people that are in your life are going to be able to protect you. You need to feel that protection at all times. And it's sad that as grown adult women that we're still on the betraying end. We are still on that betraying end because of our mental mindset. I'm going to go back because I didn't say this in the beginning. So at the beginning of every month, what I'm going to do, like I said, I'm going to put on my life coach hat on, and I'm going to cover something about the mental mindset every month. Last month, we missed the mental health awareness month, but we know that when it comes to dealing with mental mindset or mental wellness, that's a 24/7 job that we have to deal with every day. Every day a person wakes up, they have to make the decision how they're going to carry out that day, how they're going to be, how they're going to treat people. That's a 24/7 decision that you have to make. Do you understand what I'm saying? I want you to think about those who, and I'm not going to say, because I can't call out the narcissists because they don't take responsibility. They just don't. They don't. But I'm going to say, if you believe or know or believe that you might be the type of person who take others for granted, who are condescending, talking down to the same people that have your back, I want you to think of why you are that way. I want you to go all the way back, because everything, when I think about my life and I think about the things that I've gone through, I have to trace it back to childhood. I have to trace it back to how I felt as a child, or how people made me feel as a child. And I can tell you that I had low self-worth. I have low self-worth, low self-esteem. So when I was picking people to be in my life, I found myself picking the same pattern or the same type of people. See, it goes both ways. So I can't play the victim either, even as an empath, because I have to make the decision to say, Maxine, why are you attracting these type of people? Number one, family, is that we attract, again, how we feel. We are attracted to those type of people and how we feel. It's important to know that when you are picking people into your life, that you have to pace yourself. You have to pace the friendship. You have to really listen to what people are saying to you, because let me tell you something, the Satan spirit is not patient. So whatever that person is going to do, it's going to come out over time. But I got to say this about females. I got to say this particularly about females. Women, who y'all are good. I'm saying even to other women. And when I say good, I'm talking about you have become the master craft at knowing how to come in to be deceitful, to create these friendships. You're good. And once you get us, oh my gosh, it is hard to escape you. It is very difficult to escape you. And when you go through that enough times, you have to look at yourself. I'm talking about me, the empath, or people like me, or maybe people like you out there, family. And you have to look back and say, what is it about me? What is it that I'm missing? What clues am I missing? I'm going to tell you what it is. You have to make sure that when you're meeting new people in your life, is that you're really taking the time to know who they are. And people will say, oh, I'm a Capricorn. I'm a Capricorn too. I like purple. I like purple too. I like horseback riding too. They will mimic you and love everything that you love. And you're like, oh my God, I have just met my twin. And that even happens in good friendships. Don't get me wrong, but I'm talking about the empath when it comes to friendship at this point. And then before you know it, they're asking you, I don't know, weird favors or weird things, or making comments about your life. And you're looking at them like, where the hell did that come from? Where's all this coming from? And I've had where you think I'm just having a casual conversation with someone. It could be anything. It could be like I remember dating in high school. I'll give you a good example. I'm gonna go back to high school. And my very good friend, I had let her date one of my friends. This man was near and dear to my heart. I let her date this guy. And this is my girl. This is my best friend. And she went on a date with that guy, and she revealed a secret about me to that person. I mean, it almost broke me. She broke a very deep, dark secret. She told him. And I didn't know it then, but I was like, it was the jealousy. What else would you want me to do? I told you can date the guy. Why would you do that? Well, what it was when I talked to the guy is because when he was talking so much about me and putting me up high, she didn't like that. So she says, oh, you think she's all that? Well, let me tell you this. And I continued to be friends with that person. I'll be honest with you, I didn't check her like I should. So that's the next thing I want to tell you. You got to make sure that when you're dealing with that type of behavior, is that you got to put it in check right away. And they need to understand, like, why. And I did check her in a sense. I was like, why would you do that? Why would you do that to me? I thought we were friends. I should have gone deeper. And that's the other thing, is that us as empaths, we don't really get to communicate or say. We were taught that we cannot say our words. Keep it all inside. What you say doesn't even matter. And sometimes when you're dealing with the narcissistic female personality, they come on so strong that you think, well, what they're saying and doing must be right, because they seem so confident in it. But it's really not confidence, it's really cowardness. Listen, sisters, it's very important to understand this also. What you put out in this world, you will get back. Absolutely, the spiritual law is real. So you may feel that you're getting over on your friend. You think this girl has your back, she'll do anything for you. But I'm going to tell you something. When you lose someone that really has your back, I can tell you, empath or whatever you are, sociopath, it hurts you. But all they do is they just try to find new supply. You can go look this up, all this information I'm telling you on YouTube, because they have articles after YouTube videos, articles. Let's put in empath, put in narcissist, put in self-centeredness, put in covert narcissist, put in all of it. It is such the disrespect and betrayal of friendship. When I think about friendship, I remember my mom growing up with her friends, and they came from this country over to America. And the bond, what kept them together was not just friendship, but survivorship. Because coming to this country, you had nothing. So what they did was they lived with one another, they fed one another, nobody was homeless, and they stayed true friends for life. Do you hear what I'm saying? But with our generation, it's different. Friendships are more optional. There's no survivorship. Like, I'm not depending on you to stay with me. I'm not depending on you for food. I'm not depending on you for supply. So then friendships become optional. So everything is based on merit. Everything is based on the loyalty, the communication, how we treat each other, how we're feeding each other emotionally, how we're there to trust one another, hoping that we have each other's back. And that's the merit that we have to follow with healthy relationships. And I'm going to say this. As we get older, especially, I'm going to talk to the 50s, just the 50 crowd now, the 50 and above crowd, because I'm in that club. There really is no excuse or any reason to revert back to what you call the trauma because you've had your whole life to do this work. And when you say to someone, well, the reason why I'm treating you this way or acting this way is because I had trauma, you've just identified and you do know yourself that there is something very wrong. So you're really not apologizing, you're just justifying. And that's not healthy. That's not a healthy mindset. And it's sad to know that if you continue on that way, did you hear what I said, what the Buddha said? If you continue on that way, and by the time you think about trying to change your mindset, you will be there forever. You can't change it. And in the end, for you, it could be a very lonely life because people are only going to tolerate you for so long. We have to do everything in love. We have to work in love. We have to be there for one another. Like I said, when I think about friendships growing up, it was my breath to have my friends. Do you hear when I say my breath? When I can go outside of that house and know that I can go over to my girl's house and we can go hang out and we can talk and I can share what was going on with me. Now, let me tell you, not every friendship is perfect. It's not. I realized for me, I had a lot that I could not give emotionally. I had to work up to that. There's a lot of work that goes into this, but you can't do it being selfish. It's not a selfish assignment, family. And I'm amazed and still shocked that even as we get older, we're still playing these games. I don't even remember dealing with these games like in high school. Well, in high school, you wasn't even that developed mentally anyway. You just wanted to hang out, be friends. And, we talked about even going to college, we're going to get a house, an apartment. Those are things that we talked about. We never thought about, I thought, manipulating one another. But every now and again, one or two will slip through. And I have dealt with a handful of them over my life. And I had to go back and do my own work. I had to go back and say, you know what, Maxine, what is it about you? What can you do to be different? What could you change about you? And people will say, oh, what did they say? I'm conservative. It isn't that I'm conservative. It's just that I had to change my mindset because I had to protect myself because of what I've gone through. I can't keep going through that the rest of my life. I can't. And just when I think I'm over it, here come another one, like the zombies. That's why I think I'm fascinated with zombie movies. Because, when you think about zombies, I think about people that were healthy at one time, and then they got bit, and then they're trying to attack the people that they love. They're trying to attack the people that they love. Why is that? Because they're not even themselves. Something got to them. Something traumatic happened to them. That's why. They don't mean to do it. They're not who they are. When you're a zombie, you're not a human being anymore. And that's how I see a lot of people are. Come on. We got to work in love. Think about it. Think about it. I think, hey, thank you all. Thank you all for coming in. Thank you guys for joining in. We're doing this. We're on this new streaming. I love this streaming platform. Now we get to interact and I've met some wonderful sisters. If I had the same, it says they attack those that are closest to them. Absolutely. Yes, that is it. Isn't it something that people attack people that are the closest to them? Did you guys get to watch Monique this week when she talked about her relationship with D.L. Hughley? Now that's the male-female dynamic, but that was still her friend. And hey, is it Family Values? Hey, thanks for coming in. Thank you so much for coming in. And Monique broke it down in a way. And this is what she said. And that's what really made me want to talk about this topic. She said, wait, let me see. Leave a friend behind. Friends are all we have to get us through this life. That's right. And they are the only thing from this world that we could hope to see in the next. Absolutely. Absolutely. When I tell you, listen, let me go back to Monique and I'm going to make another point. So this was the point she made. She says, I cannot understand this. This was a brother that I had brought into my home. She said, now, when I bring people into my home, that's sacred. And her question was, what happened from that time to now? What happened from that time to now? What happened that this brother that I brought into this to my home, he only had 10 people at his show that showed up because it was a Mike Tyson fight. And she said, y'all just come on back because she didn't want his audience to feel cheated. But what happens is she's a good example what I would call a shift. Because if you look at Monique, think about that. When Monique, and I love Monique when she was big. I love her now. She's on her health kick. But think about it. Wasn't nobody messing with Monique when she was big and talking the crap. The minute she started changing, her lifestyle change. That's right. True friends are always together in spirit. Absolutely. We are together in spirit, sis. When she started changing her lifestyle and losing the weight, and she was, she always was on the silver screen. I mean, amazing actress, only Black comedian to win an Academy Award. People do not like change, and that's the other part that I found in friendships, and that's where I see where the shift comes in. The minute you look like you're not the person that they knew you to be many years ago, that could be a problem for some people. The shift is a problem. Who are you to go back to school and get a degree? Who are you to, you know, lose weight and lose 30 or 40 pounds or 50 pounds, whatever that is? Who are you to do that? And that's because people are afraid. They're afraid that they're going to lose you. And it's like, you never lost me. I still love you. I still love you. Nothing has changed. The only thing is, we are not going at the same pace. We are no longer two kids at the play yard. Yep, the best mirror is an old friend. I like that saying. And that's what we do. Let me tell you something. Let me go back to this other point. So recently we had a trip to South Carolina. I loved it. I'm telling you, I still got the South Carolina. And we all met for the first time. And let me tell you, it was the most beautiful, beautiful trip that I have ever had. I've never thought that I could do something outside of my comfort zone like that. And I have no regrets doing it. And even in that, I will say that for the most part, we were all great. Now, there's always going to be one. We know that, right? But it's good because at least we now know where we stand with one another, whether that be good, bad, or indifferent. But guess what? The dynamics were so positive. The dynamics were so positive that it didn't even diminish or take away from the experience that we all had. Does that make sense? Because guess what? This is the example of what I'm talking about. When you have a person that's working in their hurt, in their trauma, the only thing that I could say, and I'm not angry or mad, I'm just saying, just do your work, sis. Just do your work. You want that money, you want that better job, you want quality in your life, you want that man, do right by people. And you're going to find you're going to get it. You will get it. But as long as you're living that low vibration life, and I say this to anybody, as long as you living low and living that low vibration life and you feeling like you can treat people any old kind of way and you think you're going to be blessed, baby, no, no. You see what I'm saying? I'm saying that family value says we give unselfishly. However, we sometimes make the mistake of accepting others that are not for us into our circle. We live, we learn, and we identify everyone on the level they're on. Absolutely, absolutely. That's what we do. That's all we could do. You can't change who we are. Look, good people are just good people. You can't change us. We're unchanging. And when you're ready to be right, we'll be here for you. We'll be here for you. If you're ready to humble your spirit, we'll be here for you. It's not easy. I get it. It's hard to watch when you think other people are living their life. Let me tell you something. Nothing that any of us attain is without works. Everybody works hard for what they have. And we go through the struggle. We just don't show it like that. Just because we don't always wear it on our sleeves don't mean that we're not struggling. But you know what? If I got $1, you got 50 cents, I got 50 cents. Oh, it's three of us. Let's split it up. Let's figure out how we're going to split it up because all of us are going to have it. Everybody's going to eat. Hey, Kayvana, how you doing? Thanks for joining, sis. Renee Bristol, thanks for coming in. Thank y'all. Family values. And of course, my girl, Cindy. I love Cindy. Always, always. If I didn't have an open mind and an open heart, I wouldn't be in this space where I am right now. Do you hear what I'm saying? It's not easy. And sometimes there's different levels where people will leave you. Sometimes it's an amicable leave. Sometimes it's amicable. Sometimes it's hostile. Sometimes it's angry. It's okay. We all come full circle in this life. Sometimes people come, look, there's a saying that people come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. A season, a reason, or a lifetime. Which one do you choose? Sometimes people come in just for a little bit, just to give you the information you need, and then they go on. I've had many friendships like that. And let me tell you, if I saw those people today, I would love and give them a big old hug. I'm like, oh my God, where did that person go? Sometimes you look for people. Where did that person go? But they were only there for a season. I had to learn that. I had to learn that. It says talk between women and friends is always therapy. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. When you can go to your sister and say, listen, this is what I'm going through. And that's the other thing that I want to point out. Right. They could be a blessing or right, a blessing or a lesson. Absolutely. One thing that I'll say is that why we have the competition and why we feel like one is having the advantage over the other is because we don't have the open discussion or the communication. It's okay to humbly go to your sister and say, look, I can't. I don't feel like I can go on. Or I'm seeing you make it. How are you doing it? As trust me, the information we will always give you. There's no hiding. Anything you want to know, I'll be more than glad to tell you. And vice versa. I've seen it where I've saw people go ahead of me. That's hurtful to watch. I'm not going to lie. It is hurtful to watch. But I had to wait my turn and realize, Maxine, they did the work, girlfriend. You got to go in there and do it too. So I had some maturity to level up. This is what we need. This is what we learn from each other. This is how we learn from one another, sisters. This is how we learn. I have met the most beautiful women in my life. The women I have in my life now are all amazing, to say the least. And everyone is different. Everybody is different. Hey, Jackie. Thank you, Jackie. Jackie Q in the house. That's who we stay with in South Carolina. Every time I see greenery, when we were out there in South Carolina, I had this routine where I would get up in the morning. I was the morning person. This is what me and Cindy would say that, we could be like a troop because she's there the night shift and I'm the day shift. And so I would get up in the morning and I would make a cup of coffee and I would sit outside and it would just be quiet. And I would just look across the street and just watch the greenery and just the quietness, just sitting in the quietness. Living here in Los Angeles, everything is noisy. Everything is, if it ain't the police, it's the ambulance, it's the neighbors fighting, it's the screeching cars always. So to sit like that for 5 days was amazing. And then I got to meet one of Jackie's family members, Renee, which was amazing, who got up early with me. And we just sit out there and we just talk. That's it. If that's not beautiful friendship, and then listening to those sisters tell all their stories, and it wasn't even about the gossip or anything. It was about them telling their stories and talking their truth. And everybody was just so vulnerable and open, and we just talked. That's what I'm talking about. That is what I live for. I feel like hallelujah. But guess what if I was the other side of the fence of that? Who is it? Family Values says, hi, my beautiful sister. Thank you. Thank you, Family Values. You guys got to watch. If you have not caught my podcast, you can always click the link in my bio and you can catch my past podcast. So because I like to talk about everything health and culture, is ItsMizzMaxHealthandCulture. I don't post on Facebook as much, but like that's why I love the e-stream. So now I have a broader audience that I can speak with, and I can come in here and I can speak to all of you guys. And if for whatever reason you don't catch the live, don't worry about it. We'll always post the replays, and they'll be posted, and I always let you guys know that the replays are posted. And I love this because talking about friendships, talking about our truths, talking about anything that has to do with our mental health is amazing. Anything that we're talking about is our mental health. We have to keep talking about it, family. So once a month, like I said before, at the top of the month, the first week of the month, I'll make sure. Oh, hey, Jackie, that's oh, that's Family Values. Hey, Miss Jackie. I was like, who is Family Values? Hey, Miss Jackie Q in the house. Miss Jackie, did you adopt Jody yet? That's an insight. Lost here, silence. Thank you. Thank you all so much for being here. But in any sense, like I said, sisters, always work on your friendships. Look at the people who are around you in your circle. How are they making you feel? Do they make you feel good about you? Do they uplift you? Do they cheer you on when you're doing well? Do they support you? This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. I like this saying, a friend may be waiting behind a stranger's face. Yes, always. You just never know who you're going to run into. If I wasn't in the place I was now, I wouldn't have met the beautiful sisters that I have. But it took time to get here. And then when I did my work, like I said, this is 35, how old am I? 25? Yeah, 30 years worth of work to get the mindset right, just so I can have healthy relationships. It's not easy. Some people are blessed enough where if you grew up in a healthy household, that you were able to make discernment. One of my great friends that I have, we're still friends to this day. We met in junior high school. We still girls. We supported each other through prom, graduation, birth of children, weddings, funerals. Do we see each other all the time? No, we don't. But guess what? Just knowing that we're there is enough. And that's, even though I wish I can talk to her because I love talking to her, I always say, when are we going to go to lunch? But sometimes our lives become so busy, but that's okay. When it's our time, it's going to be our time. Because I'm that one. Most of the people that are in my life are those who've been there for a long period of time. Now, if people decide that they want to leave, it's okay. Everybody has different things going on in their life. You can't take it personal, but we have to have those conversations. We have to be. It says, be slow to fall into friendship, but when you are in, continue to firm and constant. Yes. And I said that earlier. You have to take your time when it comes to friendships. Take your time. Find out it's okay. Find out what is it that you have in common. How do you vibe with each other? How do you feel spiritually with that person? Do they make you feel good when they're around them? How do they uplift you in your life? Hey, Lord Vale, thanks for joining. Lord Vale's in the house. Good to see you here. What's good? Everything is good, Lord Vale. We're talking about healthy friendships over here. Super producer Cindy Ashby. Cindy, would you like to join any words at this point? She's always got some great words of wisdom. That's why I love her. Her and Jackie. Jackie has that wisdom too.
Look, I told you I was going to come in like I was in church.
Yes.
Maxine, you are beautiful and brilliant, and I'm so honored to know you. That's really it. That's all I want to say. Do you get what I'm
Oh,
saying? It was like
yes.
meeting you is not even by chance. Yeah. It's like, it's beautiful to connect with
Yes.
someone that
Yes.
understands you, right? There's
That's
nothing
right.
that can be said that someone just looks at you like, right? But that,
Right.
again, that is something, it's a reflection. And if you don't like your reflection, you're going to look at other people like they're shit. Do you
That's
get what I'm
right.
saying? But if you
That's
love your
important.
reflection, you're gonna be whatever. It's like trust, you know, being told, "Hey, I'm glad you trust me." No, I trust me. That's why I'm
That's
cool.
right.
You get what I'm
That's
saying?
right. That part.
I
That's
trust
it. I
me.
trust
I
me. That's
I ain't
right.
worried about you because I know what I would do. Even if you did right by me or not right by me, I
Mm.
trust me. And so
Yes.
I love you so much. God
I
damn
love you
it.
too.
You,
I love you
Jackie,
too.
Jamaica, Susie Q,
Yeah.
Renee, Yanni.
All y'all.
Am I running out of names?
All y'all. Let me tell
Love
you.
the whole
It's
divine
so
feminine.
funny. I'm telling you how people and Cindy said something very important just now that I should have said at the top is that really none of this work unless you love yourself first. And that's why when you have someone that looks at you some type of way because they don't love themselves. When you can't love yourself, how could you give it to anybody else? You can't. There's no way. And that's where the envy, the jealousy, the hatred on comes in. That's where all that stuff comes in because of self-hatred. When you don't love on you, how could you love on somebody else? And it's so sad because friendships, good, great friendships are priceless. Priceless. And it's so funny because you never know who you're going to meet in this life. When I met Cindy, I never thought it was going to be to this level. I mean, really, for real.
Listen, I knew.
And
I knew. I was like one of those women that like meet a man and be like, "That's my fucking husband." Like I knew. You might not have known, but I knew. I
I
remember
really
telling
didn't know
I remember
because,
telling Jackie, like, "I love her, and I have to keep her." Do you get what I'm saying? I
yes,
was like, "You show?" I was like, "I need that. I need that energy because I love how you uplift, you speak truth, you don't
mhm,
bullshit. Like, if it's wrong, you be
nope,
like, 'Hey, now hold on, wait a second.'" Do you get
right.
what I'm saying? And I
Yes.
respect that about
I
you.
will talk to you in love. I will talk to you in love. And that's what I'm saying. Everything I want to do is in love. I don't want to come at you any old kind of way because when I look at a person and I see someone that's out of order, I know it's because of self hate. I know that's what it is. So, how could you be mad at somebody like that? But what I'm trying to say is that you have to get to a mindset to even recognize that. Other people will take that personal. If I would have been 30, I would have taken that personal. That's an attack against me when it's really not an attack against me. It's really you're really fighting yourself. You're always fighting against yourself, and just know this: as long as you're fighting against yourself, that causes sickness. Do you understand what I'm saying? It says some people are truly miserable, and it shows in their character and behavior towards others. Absolutely, Jackie. Absolutely, because oh, thank you, Just Queen. Thank you. Love that about her. Yes, telling the truth. Thank you, Just Queen. Absolutely. You have to be in your truth and you have to say it in love without hostility. But what I'm telling you, it takes levels to get to that point. Because I'll be honest, it would have been a time I would go from 0 to 10 to control my mind and my mouth. She says she sent me for you, Max. Jackie, I love her too. And that's the different personalities. And I'm gonna tell you why. Not everybody is the same. And that's what makes the dynamic so beautiful. Everybody brings their own look, we're a gumbo. Everybody brings their own meat and their own seasoning and their own vegetables, and we all make a beautiful gumbo. And that's what makes us all great. But we all have to be in a mindset, even in our trauma. What's one of us? Tell me who has not had the trauma. Please tell me. When I've heard you sisters' stories and what you've gone through and the different things, I'm like, oh my gosh. And to still show that love, it lets me know that it's possible that you can have respectful friendships and loving friendships and be trusting. Will we always agree on everything? No. But that's okay. That's what makes us all together. When you in the committee, is everybody always agreeing in the committee? No. But
I
that's
mean
okay.
I mean, you shouldn't agree, right? We agree to
No.
disagree, right? And that's what makes
We
everyone
agree to disagree. Absolutely. We agree to disagree.
but
And
there's
you have
respect. Respect.
that's right. And that's the main thing, respect. The one thing though that I can tell you that is a pet peeve of mine is that when I see a sister who's going above and beyond for another sister and being disrespected. That's a hurtful thing to watch, because I know for a fact that the person that's acting that way, oh my gosh, the karma is real. I'm telling you, the karma is real. And when you're putting out that type of energy, what blessings do you think is going to come back to you? I don't think so. Let me tell y'all something, folks. It's hard enough just to live this life. It is hard just enough to live the right way, much live any other way. Hell, it doesn't work like that. And as soon as you get that click and get that work in your head, and I get it, we going through our stuff. We all gone through it. I've gone through my stuff. Pick anybody in here. We all should be writing books. I think we should all be writing a Bible together. Who's going to be chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? We all should be writing Bibles because we all have the story. We all have it.
Now,
You
wait,
know?
when you were talking about like karma,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's not towards that person. A lot of us have children. You get
Yes, yes,
the sins of the man falls on the child. We have to
yes,
be careful.
yes. That's the other thing. You block the blessing of the children. That's right. The sins of the parents fall upon the children. It may not even be you. I could have blessed your child. Maybe they had something that I could help with. You don't even see that far. We got to look beyond that. You have to look beyond that. Look beyond yourself. This ain't about you anymore. And I say that all the time. It's not about you anymore. It's about these kids. Look at these kids nowadays, kind of shifting a little bit. But look at these kids nowadays who's going through high depression, suicide, taking these drugs and all these different things. Why? Because they don't have the support that they need. And the person could be somebody that mom or daddy got in. Well, say mama got into it with, and now we can't be the blessing. Right, it passes down from generation to generation like a curse. Absolutely. It does pass down. So now these kids are thinking that they don't have nobody, anyone. I would always tell my family, look, if any one of your kids need to come to my door and knock, I will never turn them away, ever. They need a place to sleep. If I could just put them on the floor, they can come to my house. Do you understand that? I said, because we cannot keep doing this to these children. They can't make it like we can. They're not as strong as and resilient as we are. It takes a little bit, not a little bit, a lot more. They need that community. In spite of all the social media and all the stuff they go through, they still need community. They still need that physical help. They need to know that somebody can support them. Hell, sometimes little Johnny can't even go to the trip because he don't have $20, but Auntie Rita got 20. Auntie Rita got 5 million. I mean, I don't know. That's how close it is. And these kids are being devastated over small things because we can't get our shit together. No, we got to stop. You know, yes, extremely important to build our legacies. Absolutely. That's exactly what we're doing right here today, building this legacy for these kids. It's not about us. That's why Is Miss Max Health and Culture was created. So one day some child can go back and be like, oh my gosh, that's what I was going through. That's what I was dealing with. I thought it was just me feeling like that. It's not just me. Somebody empathizes with me. Somebody feels like I do. That's all they need to know is they have validation. But we cannot do that if we continue to act this way. Listen, we've already been dealing with that with the older generation set in their ways. We know that we love them, but they are set in their ways and they take it to the grave. We can't be that. We cannot be that. We can't do that to our kids. We got to keep on loving on them.
You know what I
But
think we should do?
what's that?
Like when you go on a date, it's like a vetting process. And I think
Yes.
for me, a lot of times I'll see something in someone that is so beautiful,
Mm-hmm.
right? The intention is good, but intentions is a good way to hell, right? As they say. And so I'll see something wonderful in you, but if you don't see it, then what the does it matter, right? And
Right.
so I guess it's just asking someone, what does friendship mean to you? Like an
Yes,
interview,
exactly.
right? What does friendship
Exactly.
mean to you? And for
Exactly.
me, it's kindness, it's
Mm-hmm.
courage when you don't have it, it's love, it's respect, and it's about caring about someone
Absolutely,
no matter
absolutely.
what.
No matter
Nothing
what.
judging, because you ain't God. I mean, we're gods in our own, but you get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because if you're into that ideology, then God is forgiven, right? And so
That's
at the
right.
end of the day, as long as you don't do no fucked up shit, we'll be fine, right? As long as you don't overstep. And friendship is about boundaries.
That say it again, please. Friendship is about boundaries.
And I don't think some people have never had a friendship. Some people go their whole life with no friends. Or one, like the quote said, if you had one good friend, then
Mhm.
you have lived while you are
Exactly.
here.
And I got to be honest, Cindy, I was one that I did not set clear boundaries. I have to be honest in that. And that cost me as well. And so what would happen is that's how my friendships would end because I would let things go so long for too long. And then when I finally said no, when I had enough, they looked at me like, what the hell's wrong with you? It's like when you give the kid the candy. You keep giving them the candy and oh, they licking and got diabetes. We don't care. I'm giving them the candy. I say, no more candy. It's not good for you. It's not good for me. And they're screaming and crying like a brat. Well, you said yes this 100 time. Now this 101 time, you're saying no. Now all of a sudden, Maxine is the bad person. They'll tell anybody who will listen that I'm the bad person, and that's how the friendships would end. That's the way they would end.
Because people have amnesia.
Yes, they do.
They don't remember the good times, right? It's like a relationship. You know how like you could just love someone and then one day you both wake up and you hate each other.
Yes.
And then it's like you can't even reflect on and this person is just doing shit to attack you, to hurt you, because they know all your triggers. They know all the
Mhm.
fucking shit you don't like. And so now they're coming for you, coming for you. I don't understand how love, which starts as a friendship, because it should start as a friendship, right?
Yes.
Could turn into something so volatile. But like you said, that's something from within. It's understanding yourself.
It's about having control over you. And that's the other thing. That's the other narcissistic move. It's the whole thing is to have control over you. And once a person feels that they can no longer have control, well, that's a problem. That's really a problem. And and that's where it ends. And so that's where we have to take different paths. You have to be careful walking out of those friendships. I don't know what those people are, how much of an influence they have in your life, because I can remember I used to care what people thought, and I used to be afraid to end the friendship because I thought, oh my gosh, they're going to talk about me and tell everybody how bad of a person I was, and I won't be able to tell my side of the story. And then I got older and I said, well, damn, these people don't pay my bills. I can't go to them for a cup of water. I can't depend on them for anything. So why do I give a F about what they think? And once that clicked for me, all right, bye. So this is what I'll say this in closing for those who may say, well, if you meet a person, you have a friendship, it's been a long friendship. Should you let go of the friendship? That's been the question that asked. Should you let go of the friendship? I would say to you, absolutely let go of the friendship. Let me tell you why. Do you hear what I said? If you joined in earlier, and thank you guys. I want to say shout out to SUPASLY 75. Thanks for coming in. And Keone, thank you for coming in. And everyone that's taken the time to listen to me today. Um, People don't really change. What I said earlier was that if you wait too long to change who you are, then by the time you want to change, and hey, Odin Smith, thank you for coming in. Um, by the time you want to change, it's too late to change your mindset. So now you have to make the decision. Do you want to keep this drama, this toxic, cancerous person with this bad spirit in your life? Or do you want a peaceful life? And if you vote for wanting to have a peaceful life, then yes, they have to go. Sometimes it will take time to get rid of them because you need to let them know that you're serious. You have to stay consistent. So you're no longer answering the calls like you used to. You are no longer going to their beck and call like you used to. You're backing away one step at a time until you are totally out. Totally out. Hey, Jasmine. Jasmine in the house. So this is what I'm saying. Back out of the friendships. You want to have that empath. That empath part of you wants to forgive, and you can still forgive, and you can still love them from afar. Because even the ones that I no longer speak with don't mean that I don't still love them. I do remember the good times when they were good, but they can no longer be in my life because they were not healthy for me. And it was good for as long as it lasts. And that's it. It was good as long as it lasts. So I say take care of you first. Ladies, sisters, we need to learn to put ourselves in the front of the line always, because if we are not healthy in mind and body and soul, then we can't be a blessing to other people. You hear what I'm saying? And that is the order. That's the order. So on that, I thank you all for joining me today at On the Wake Up Radio. Tune in next time. Like I said, we'll be doing the mindful mindset once a month. We're going to be diving into mental health. And there's a topic or something that you'd like for me to talk about, please let me know. I'd be more than glad to speak on it. I appreciate you all taking your time out your busy day. Don't forget to stop by my website, ministryandwellness.com. That's www.ministryandwellness.com for your alternative solutions. And if you sign up, you will get a coupon. And Cindy, thank you. And sisters and brothers and everyone that joined us today, until the next time.